Hey everyone, in this video I'm just going to go over the current epic weapons cache and kind of go through the different weapons that we're seeing in it. And to be honest, all the weapons seem pretty good, and I know there's only a 1% chance of actually pulling them, but if by chance you do end up pulling a 5-star weapon, at least you know it'll be pretty decent. The first weapon, Herschel's Sturdy Root Slayer, seems like a very solid weapon. 30% HP, 20% defense, a unique third slot ability of defense and attack down. When being attacked, a better chance to cause minus 35% defense and minus 35% attack for 3 turns to the enemy. Add in the 4th slot is Stonewall, which prevents this tune's defense from being lowered, and you have a very strong weapon. Now, this could go on a human shield prospectively. It could go on someone like Cameron Scar. I think there's honestly a lot of potential with this weapon because it causes both an attack and a defense debuff, which allows you to apply more damage to the enemy while taking less damage back, of course. I think a weapon like this that can cause an attack and a defense debuff would be very effective if trauma ever comes into play on full effect, where trauma is likely to be triggered basically, or where it turns into the meta because it's not being used very much. But I think this weapon's pretty interesting. I do think that there could be some things changed. Like, I know a lot of people enjoy having team player on the 4th spot just because it's a stackable trait that can give attack as well as crit chance to all other tunes surrounding the tune holding this, as well as to the tune who is holding it, because it acts like a leadership skill. Overall, it's still a very strong weapon and would actually be decent for most players to pick up. The next weapon in this cache is one that we have seen before, Sergio's Violent Tactical Shotgun. So 30% attack, 15% defense, and then bonus AP and attack, so receive plus 20% attack for 2 turns, and plus 20% AP at the beginning of each wave. 4th slot is also a special craft, where for every 10% AP, gain 5% attack on basic attacks. So at the start of a turn, you would actually have plus 10% attack. This is the type of weapon that I've seen people run with Priya or Princess on attack in order to make a turn 1 attack team. The added attack from the plus 20% attack on the weapon helps out a lot. I know some people have put Rampage on the 4th slot or the team player ability that I mentioned before in order to increase the attack as well as increase the chance of a critical hit. This weapon is quite strong. I would probably add team player onto the 4th spot or Rampage, and then I would just add 10% more attack to the weapon, because technically this 20% on a 76 AP tune gives 16 AP. Add in if you use Dr. Stevens, who gives 60 AP to a tune, which would be 46 AP on a 76 AP tune, which brings us to 62 AP. And finally, if you have 2 8% AP weapons on a 76 AP tune, that is 7 AP each, giving a total of 14 AP. And the grand total of a naturally rushing tune at 76 AP would be 76 exactly, meaning the tune holding this weapon, if it were a 76 AP tune, would be able to rush on the first turn naturally. And by naturally, I mean they don't need to attack to gain any AP and then be commanded. Now, the last weapon in this weapon cache, that's a 5-star weapon, is Lance's Sturdy Dagger. This weapon we've seen on the cache before as well. It has 30% HP, a medium bonus to AP when attacking, impenetrable defense, which you can craft but is difficult to, so when being attacked, a better chance to reduce the damage to 0, and apply 20% slow to the enemy for 2 turns. The 4th slot on this weapon also gives a defensive buff based on how many debuffs are applied to the enemy's team, specifically living team. So this could stack up really fast, especially if you have a tune that applies, say, stun to the enemy on the first turn like Mercer, or Jackie who applies confuse to everyone on the other team. There are so many ways in order to stack this weapon so that you have a high amount of defense. So overall, based on the weapons in this weapons cache, I will actually be pulling on this. I'm going to do 5 pulls just because, if anything, I need the armoury tokens. At this point in the game, it's all about who has the best weapons, and I've been trying to 5-star my Dr. Stevens weapon for about a week now, and this should, or hopefully at least, push me over the edge so I can. Now, I'm definitely hoping to get a fair number of armoury tokens. Someone in my faction actually pulled the 100,000 armoury tokens, which was awesome for them. that's basically 5-starring 2 weapons, which is kind of crazy because you think 100,000 should get you a lot more, but the price of 5-starring a weapon is so high that it's really nothing. So in 5 pulls, I got 18,500 armoury tokens, which I'm actually pretty happy about. That should put me over the edge, so now I can 5-star my Dr. Stevens weapon. This is actually super exciting to me. I'm trying to craft 10% healing to 2 tunes for every fast tune on the team. I think it would be very beneficial on Dr. Stevens. I know a lot of people have gone with team player, but I just feel like my Dr. Stevens would work better with this craft, especially if infection becomes the new meta. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video.